Imagine a character so brilliant that he can go toe to toe with two of the greatest assassins in the entire Hunter x Hunter universe at the same time. So why does someone this strong need to rely on stealing and borrowing abilities instead of just using brute force? Let's have a little deep dive into Chrollo Lucifer. Now before we look into Chrollo's Nen ability, we need to look at the strengths and weaknesses he already possesses outside of that. One thing we already know for sure is that regarding physical strength, Chrollo is nowhere near the top of the food chain, ranking 7th in the Phantom Troop alone. However, he more than makes up for this in a few other ways. The three areas I would say Chrollo excels in the most is hand-to-hand combat, overall strategy and intellect, and by far speed. Speed is one of the most important factors when it comes to combat in Hunter x Hunter, as we've seen. It's been a defining feature in so many fights. In my opinion, speed was the defining feat that allowed Chrollo to stay alive in his fight versus Silver and Zeno. I highly doubt he was as strong as them, and I highly doubt he was able to pull out as many feats as them. Although I will say he was trying to steal their abilities. Now here comes the piece de resistance. Chrollo's Nen ability, Skill Hunter. Skill Hunter essentially allows Chrollo to steal the ability of a victim, place it into this book called Bandit Secret, and then use the ability as much as they like, barring a few terms and conditions. However, it's not that simple. As the great Uncle Ben once said, with great power comes great high-risk Nen contracts. In order for Chrollo to steal the abilities, he has to jump through an insane number of hoops. I've done a video on this already, but to summarize it, Chrollo must witness the Nen ability in action with his own eyes. He must ask questions about Nen, and it must be answered by the victim he's going to steal it from. His victim's palm must touch the handprint on the cover of Bandit Secret. All of the above must be completed within 1 hour, which is insane if you think about it. It's one of the main reasons why Chrollo is such a charismatic character. He has to be a people's person in order to get to know his victims, in order to get stuff out of them, in order to have conversations with them, in order to get this power. He's a master strategist. In a way, I see him as Batman. He is the Batman of the Hunter x Hunter universe, and I'll tell you why. Just think about it. Batman and Chrollo are both very proficient in hand-to-hand combat. They're both master strategists, and where Batman gets his gadgets, Chrollo has his Skill Hunter ability and his book. Whenever Batman is dealing with a particular villain, he deals with it within a very particular manner via prep time. And Chrollo does exactly the same thing, which leads to the Hisoka fight. Chrollo versus Hisoka was very interesting because Hisoka felt robbed because Chrollo borrowed Cortopi's abilities as well as Shalnark's. He used these to maximum proficiency. Chrollo's like that kid who comes over to your house, he's never played that video game you have at your home, and he absolutely spanks you at it. He's the kid you never want to invite around again. You're like, bro, just go home. I'm not calling you out again. He borrowed these abilities because he knew this was gonna be a strategy that would definitely defeat Hisoka. He wanted a 100% chance of winning because that's the kind of personality he has. He knew he lacked strength. Bear in mind, Hisoka is technically the second physical strongest in the Phantom Troop. He knew he lacked physical strength. However, he knew he was faster than Hisoka. However, he didn't rely solely on his speed because he's not that naive. He came out with yet another ability. This ability manifested from his book, Bandit Secret. Chrollo now has the ability to use a bookmark called Double Face in tandem with Bandit Secret. This is because prior to this, Chrollo would have to have the book open while using that ability, otherwise the ability wouldn't work. Now he can just put the bookmark in, close the book, and use both his hands. This allowed him to use his hand-to-hand combat skills to full efficiency. However, that's not it. This guy is just brilliant. If he puts the bookmark on a particular page and then closes it and then opens another page, he's able to use two abilities at the same time. Hisoka was not ready for this, and he just was completely overwhelmed. And that's why he ended up like this. However, this time round, Hisoka is not going to be that easy to defeat. He's seen what Chrollo can do, and Chrollo is in a very confined space on the Black Whale. Back's against the wall, and he's now looking for artifacts in order for him to steal. In the latest chapters, we found out something very interesting. If Chrollo wants to steal a very rare and powerful ability, he has to steal an object that's as rare and powerful, which could be a national treasure, for example. This is very insightful into the Phantom Troop as a whole, because this could be the reason why Chrollo became a thief in the first place. We also found out in that chapter that Chrollo has an ability called Love Dial 6700 that he stole from someone called Narumi McGate. This basically conjures a phone number which allows him to detect someone that has a Nen ability that he wants. He is now currently using that to scout for Nen abilities on the Black Whale ship. He's on smoke and he's ready to do what it takes to find an ability that he wants. And if he gets hold of some of these artifacts, if not all of them, he can potentially have any ability he wants on the ship. That's if he's able to steal it. Follow, like, and share if you want to see more videos like this. I'm doing longer breakdowns. The manga's popping off right now. Follow, like, and share, guys.